What is going on, everybody? RC Propaganda here, coming at you with another video. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the new HPI Scale Builders Kit. So stay tuned to find out more.
Perfect.
Well, alright everyone, I'm very happy to be coming at you with this video here. I recently decided to go with the HPI Scale Builders Kit. I put my pre-order in a little while ago, was not really sure when it was going to arrive. I know a lot of people are still waiting, but I got mine. I got a chance to build it, and the truck was really fun to build, and it seems really solid so far. I still am not ready to get it out on the trails. I've been fitting my Power Wagon body on it. I did have a few issues, so I had to wait. The only thing that was the major problem, which is, it's not a giant problem if you're in the hobby and you have parts already, but the steering servo horn really is not good. The setup is, it's got a servo saver essentially with the spring. Now this is a upgraded aluminum one because the stock plastic one was missing a piece. They gave me two of the horns, but not the little piece that goes in the bottom. So there's a piece that goes on first, and then it slides into here, and the spring keeps the tension on it. I wasn't really feeling it after I ordered an aluminum one and put it on. I was looking at some setup tips, and I noticed that someone just put a regular servo horn on there. So that's what I did. I just took one off my Revo I had sitting around, and it does have a little bit longer, like where it goes on. The clamp style does give it a little distance because you can't have it too far down there because then your link is kind of going to be at a funny angle. But you can see here, I got it going good. I got good steering angle. I set my endpoints with my Tactic radio because I'm using a Tactic receiver in here. We'll get into that in a little bit. But overall, the build is pretty straightforward. The directions are pretty good. You do have to kind of look at the bags and see what's in there because the bags aren't individually labeled that are inside the bags that are labeled, if that makes sense. So you have like bag A, and in bag A it contains other bags and so on and so forth. So, you know, if you don't have any knowledge on how stuff is, it kind of could be a problem. I'm kind of familiar with these as I have a bunch of crawlers. I've never actually built a kit, but I've taken so many things apart, and you know, I kind of have a little bit of a base in the hobby, so I understand some things. It's not like you can't figure it out, but you know, you might have to spend some time on it. So everything seemed to fit really well. Like, you do have to pay attention with certain orientations on how things go, but overall the build was a blast. I really like some of the designs on things they did. First of all, we'll talk about the axles. They do use some brass tubes inside. It's a two-piece, so you have brass tubes here and here, so it gives the axles some weight. I like that setup. One thing I don't like is the way the hubs bolt around the axles. They're just plastic pieces. They do sell aluminum upgraded ones. I seen online, I forget the company, but that is something you can upgrade. So that's not really too big of a problem. It uses that same setup in the back. You have these bigger pieces that slide onto the outside of the axles, and you know, they're just two screws here and here that hold those on. So it's not the best. I mean, it's a good setup, but I wish that would have been aluminum. I get it, for $200 you're not going to get all that stuff, but the parts that you do get that are really nice that are aluminum is the links. The links are really nice, lightweight aluminum. A nice stainless, like the Incision, would have been nice for a little added lower weight, but aluminum's not bad. I'm going to add weight in other ways in the future, so not a big deal. Plastic drive shafts, but they do have CVDs, and then here they have like a nice little metal insert at the ends. So those seem really stout. Again, You got the CVDs here over what the ready to run comes. It doesn't come with those, so the kit version does. You got these metal diff covers. One thing I dislike about that setup is where your links go on, the mount uses screws in the cover. So if you want to go back and grease your gears when you take this cover off, you're also going to take the mount for the link off, and that is also a plastic piece. I did see some kits where you can get aluminum pieces there, so that's pretty nice. I wish it would have just kind of came from the factory. In the rear, I'll show you here. I don't know how well it's going to show up, but this piece right here where the top two links, that's a separate piece, and these 3 screws here in the top of the cover hold that on. So if you pop that cover off, your links are coming off as well. It's not a deal breaker by any means, but it's just a little weird design thing that I've noticed is quite different compared to my Traxxas and Axial trucks. But I built it, I greased it myself, so I do know it has good grease in there. I don't have to go take it apart for a while. So it's not a big deal, but it's just something I want to mention in the design. I'm learning a lot about how these trucks go together, and it's really cool to see some things. Another thing that I like in the design, which I think is positive, is this transfer case sits right here in the middle really nice. You got this nice steel drive shaft here. You know, it's just a T-bone, it goes into there, and then you got all your gears inside there. All metal gears in there, so that's really nice. The setup of the motor and servo with the transmission up here in the front gives the truck a lot of weight. You can see the weight balance here on my phone. To get the truck to sit there, you actually have to move it back. If you try to center it, the weight just brings the truck down. So that's really nice having all that weight in the front. I really like that design. Let's see. Overall, there's really nothing else. The one thing that I dislike is this battery tray. The battery tray is not very spacious, and the design is kind of weird. They should have just did kind of like a couple hook and loops so you could go with bigger batteries. So this is the only battery that will fit. It's a thin 3000 milliamp battery. It just fits in there. So I do have this other 3000 milliamp, but it's just a tiny bit thicker, and no matter what you do, you can't get the little clamp piece to go down, so you need a longer one of these, and then you could run bigger batteries. But I'm just gonna set up a little hook and loop strap, because on the side here you can fit a strap in and then just put one strap on there, and I think you'll be okay in your crawler. I was trying to use this strap to test it, but this one's just too long, so you just need a short strap. Or if you got really thin batteries, you're okay. No big deal. So what I chose to go with electronics, I just didn't have funds to get anything new. I'm currently kind of gonna go in a different direction with one of my old Traxxas rigs, my original one. So I just stole everything out of there for now. So I got the XL5 Traxxas crawler ESC with their 21 turn 550 can motor. I just threw it in here really quick. It should be good. You got all your selectable modes, so you know, give me enough time to test everything and just see how everything holds up, and or less, you know, before then I upgrade it. But I think I'm just gonna rock this setup for now. One thing I will point out is the receiver box is for like a 2-channel, so you need a really small receiver. I am using the Tactic systems that have an axial in here, and that receiver just fits in the box. You don't need any tape or anything because it just sits right in there. It's not gonna move. Not sure how waterproof it is, because where the wires go in here, there's a good size hole. You could go ahead and maybe do something about that. I'm not real worried. I never submerge my vehicles in water. You know, maybe just go through a little bit on the tires. To be honest with you, I wouldn't even really have to use a waterproof servo. That is the Traxxas servo as well in there, and you really realize how crappy those servos are once you've been running something better. The speed and the torque, it's just not that good. But this truck's not super heavy, so it shouldn't be too bad for now. that will probably be the first thing I upgrade. The Traxxas crawler system with the motor stuff's really not that bad, to be honest with you. So, you know, it's reliable. It works. Not a big deal. I am trying to fit my Power Wagon body on here. Well, I have fitted it on here. It doesn't really go on 100% like I would like. I'm just using some Velcro here. I gotta finish putting this slider on. I'm trying to heat these up and bend them up to make the look a little bit better. I'm not sure what other bodies would look like on here, but I put some Velcro on here as well, and then I got it under the side steps, kind of like I had it set up in the other truck, and then I just put it over the top of these shock hoops. Otherwise, to get the body to sit right, you would have to, you know, cut out the whole hole and have these sit up above your shock hoops, and I mean above your body, and that's not very scale. I don't want that look. I'm not going for like a straight up crawler look, more of a scale look with this build. The only thing with the body that I dislike is the way the frame is here in the back. It's really low, and even with the body all the way down on these hoops, there's like a big gap in the back, and it doesn't really look good, and I really don't see a way to add any kind of bumper, because you're going to need a mount that sits in here that would come way up, and then it's kind of not going to look good. So I think, you know, some people with body choices maybe that are better at building some scale rigs will find a way to get everything to kind of look good, but with lack of inner fenders and all that, you are missing some of that scale. I don't really necessarily think that it's the truck's fault. I think if you were to get like that FJ body, it would cover up some of that stuff, but just be aware what kind of bodies you're fitting on here and what it's going to look like. These are just the deadbolt stock rims and tires I had laying around. Those will go quick too, but for now they're looking good with that Power Wagon body. Things that you will have tough time with when building this, the only thing really is the slipper clutch. The way that spring goes, you're going to need a vise or some sort of C-clamp to where you can push on the whole assembly and collapse the spring in order to get the pin in for the diff cup there that holds the drive shaft. Other than that, nothing was overly difficult, especially if you know what you're doing. You will need a long Allen driver. This one was just long enough because the tip broke on my regular drivers for the way the drive shafts go together. So make sure you have a long Allen that can slide in there to get that drive shaft assembly completed. And one other thing is on the front shocks, you have these mounts here that hold them. To get them in with those rod ends, they have a kind of a clearance issue. You actually have to loosen up the mount so you have some room, and then when you tighten it down, the rod ends will fit in there, and they're kind of tight up against the hubs. When you assemble it, the hubs have a little indentation of how they're supposed to go because that rod end has to sit in there, and they are correctly in there. I double checked, and they're still kind of a tight fit, but the shocks do feel nice. I went with 15 weight oil all the way around. I do have full preload on the front. I think I am going to have to upgrade, I think I'm going to have to go up in oil weight because of all that weight in there. The 15 is not enough. I'm going to bump it up to 20, and I think that should give it to me. Otherwise, it's kind of bottom out really quick because of all the weight. But the truck, like I said, is really balanced. It feels really solid, and I really liked putting a kit together. If you have not built a kit, I highly recommend it. This is kind of like, not like my favorite, obviously I haven't really drove it, I can't say that yet, but just feeling connected to it and seeing how it all went together, I kind of know everything in and out, and I really like that aspect of it, and I really want to just keep working and trying to get the setup dialed in, because I want to compare it to my ready-to-run rigs, even though they're a little modded. I'm just curious to see what this thing can do, because I built it and I really like it. I like how this transfer case is over here. I like all the weight that's in the front. I think it has a lot of potential to be something really good, so I definitely would highly recommend this kit. Go ahead, put your pre-order in, and not sure when they're going to ship. I haven't been able to find anything out like that, but you know, if you want something different and you want a truck that not everyone has, I definitely would recommend the kit version, and then you can kind of do whatever you want with it. But I think it's a really good platform. Comes with a lot of nice little pieces of metal already, and you wouldn't have to really do too many upgrades to it. So you have a lot of wiggle room there, and for 200 bucks, I think that it's a really good deal. Alright guys, that is going to be it for the look at the HPI Scale Builders Kit. We will take this out and I will show you guys some running videos in the future. But for now, that's going to be it. So thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button so you guys can see all my newest videos. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.